This is Almedalen week, and here where there were activities of different parties introducing their programs and also different organizations. And where Set My People Free had its exhibition. And now I will take you in a tour of the exhibition. Here is our exhibition. Quite a number of displays have disappeared. Now our place is just on top of Bjorn Borg, and you find this sign at the entrance guiding you to the exhibition, and also speaks about 1.3 million Muslims. They don't have freedom to live Islam. And as you approach the exhibition, we have these large posters outside showing some of the cases. You have the case of Princess Latifa Maktoum, who was kidnapped while trying to escape Dubai, showing the oppression of women and the application of Islamic Sharia on women. And next to her is Pastor Raymond Go, kidnapped in Malaysia. And he was kidnapped on the 13th of February 2017. And nothing is heard about him since then. He had a ministry in Malaysia, really ministering to Malays. And so he disappeared. It seems the government has been involved in his kidnapping. This is another man from Iraq, from a Kurdish background, who was murdered by his family because he wanted his children to live like other Swedish women. And they threatened him. He didn't accept any of the threats. And he insisted that he wants his daughters to live free. And then he was threatened again. They said to him, this is against Sharia, that your daughters live like Swedish women, they should cover their head. He refused. They should not have a relationship with boys, which he said no. And then they invited him to a fishing picnic, and they killed him because he went against Sharia. Ustaz Mahmoud Muhammad Taha was executed in Sudan at the age of 76 in 1985 because he started a different sect than Islam, which was more, in a way, charismatic and more religion of good works. And he was against the hypocrisy of Muslims, the way they have Muslim brothers. We choose religion as a business. And here our sign of the exhibition. You need to go upstairs, and as you go upstairs in this building, which is quite central in Almedalen, you come and you face the sign 1.3 million again, without freedom to live Islam. And as you go in, first you have here the story of Miriam, who was also imprisoned and sentenced to death for leaving Islam. And here is when she arrived to Italy. In Rome was her daughter and son. Of course, she was accused of apostasy because she left Islam. She was sentenced to death. And also she was accused of adultery because she married a non-Muslim. And apostasy means leaving Islam and giving up one's religion faith. In 12 countries, there is death sentence for those who choose to leave Islam. And as you come to go in, here look at the exhibition. You look at this side, you see some of the sayings of Dag Hammarskjöld, and he says that freedom from fear could be said to sum up the whole philosophy of human rights. And under it you have the Article 18 in Swedish. Freedom of conscience, freedom of thought, conscience and belief. This includes freedom to change belief, and also you have the right to practice it and share it with others. And again, a picture of number of the victims of apostasy and blasphemy law. As you come in, you also you see a bigger one showing different victims of apostasy and blasphemy law. This is serious. And you here have our dream, is that the international community criminalize Islamic apostasy and blasphemy laws and decriminalize its victims and the ones who are trying to abolish it. So, and again here, we have that 1.3 million Muslims, they don't have freedom to live Islam, and it also you have the Article 18 written, and the goals of set my people free. Again, the map is here, showing the countries where they're applying apostasy and blasphemy law. It is death sentence. Here you can see, and death sentence is the red countries, and you can see the countries which have death sentence. And again here the orange and the yellow. The orange, it is a crime to leave Islam. You have countries like Malaysia, Morocco, and Western Sahara, Oman, Syria, United Arab Emirates, Uzbekistan, Algeria, Bahrain, Comoro Island, Egypt, Indonesia, Iraq, Jordan, Libya. In all these countries, it is a crime to leave Islam. You face imprisonment, you face torture, you lose child custody and marriage and inheritance. Countries where conversion from Islam and blasphemy is criminalized and punishable by death: Afghanistan, Brunei, Iran, Kuwait, Maldives, Mauritania, North Sudan, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. Countries where religious freedom officially exists, but where family or the community may take matters in their own hands to apply Islamic apostasy and blasphemy law. Countries where apostasy and blasphemy laws are applied in certain regions or among certain people groups. Nigeria and Mali, these are the yellow ones. Blasphemy in Islam is any objection to the authenticity of Islam or its laws or prophet. We go in, we see here also on this table some of the books which are quite a good reference into this issue. And you will continue to go to the exhibition. It is this, here the back of the one about what set people, my people free is trying to do in English here, and its goals, you see, and apostasy, blasphemy, and goals. When you go around this, you come to this cube, which shows Set My People Free logo, and also Article 18. And then we go and see more victims, but we will continue to see what can you do to get involved here. Create awareness of former Muslims in Islamic countries around the world, and it is creating the awareness of the situation of former Muslim Islamic countries around the world. Pray for a change in the situation of former Muslims, for God's grace and strength for them, for freedom, equality, for their oppressors, experience God's love and forgiveness, and for change of attitude towards former Muslims in Islamic countries. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay updated on current cases and upcoming events. Inform public, your political constituency, local and central government and human rights groups. Lobby for freedom of conscious thought and belief of religion, encouraging them to work for the implementation of Article 18 and 19, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in Islamic countries. Organize protests in public places and in front of embassies against discrimination and lack of religious freedom. Write articles and share case stories from our website. Form a network of like-minded people to work on abolishing the apostasy law in Islamic countries. Donate financially to help support our work. Become a member by filling the form on our website. Become a sponsor as a company or organization. And here was a letter we wrote to the members of the Human Rights Council in Geneva. Also down here you find Article 18 and 19. And here was a dream of somebody from Saudi Arabia. He said, my desire is to have the freedom to live as a Christian in my home country. This was Hamoud Saleh Al-Amri, convert from Saudi Arabia. As we go around, we saw Omar Muhammad, who was killed in Aden because he was accused of being atheist. Again, we see my friend Pastor Rimongo, kidnapped in Malaysia, Princess Latifa Makhsoom, who was kidnapped as she tried to flee the United Arab Emirates. Again, Omar, convert from Iran, Asia Bibi, who spent over nearly 10 years in prison from 2009 to 2019. She was released early this year. Then we come around, we see Anwar, who was killed in Yemen and who left 3 daughters orphans. And here are our faithful worker from Turkey, Tiliban Gesik, and of course Ugur Yugusel and Nektati Ayadil. Both these 3 were killed in the eastern part of Turkey. And down here we have Rimsha, who at the age of 13 was accused of blasphemy and was nearly going to be sentenced to death. Through a lot of advocacy, she was evacuated from Pakistan and she lives now in Canada with her family. But we forget that in her village there were about 400 other families which had to leave their home who were Christians because of this, of her being accused of blasphemy. Those have to run away and their homes were ransacked. And of course, leaving their livelihood, their own property, their homes, and where they worked, and they run, and they have nothing left for them, the 400 families who left this place. Usaid al-Rahman, killed in Bangladesh for what he wrote in his blog. And this man in Sweden was killed because he wanted his children to live as free women. We have spoken about him already outside when we came in. Raif Badawi, sentenced to 10 years prison because of he criticized the Saudi Arabian government for not giving freedom of expression, and he was accused of insulting religion. These Coptic Christians were killed in Libya because they rejected to convert to Islam. And here again, a result of apostasy and a blasphemy law, the attack on the churches in Sri Lanka. And that was so sad, with a little outrage from the international community. And here the story of the governor of Jakarta, who was accused of blasphemy because he questioned one of the hadiths, the sayings of Muhammad about that non-Muslims should not rule over Muslims. And he was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment for blasphemy. And you see, this shows very clearly that Islam is not compatible with democracy, because he was convicted of because of his questioning of the saying, shows that there is no freedom of expression in Islam, and also that this saying is true for Islam, that non-Muslims should not rule over Muslims. And then this shows also clearly that Islam is not compatible with democracy because of lack of equality between non-Muslims and Muslims. And so, again, on the back here, you have the victims. You have Rafah Gun, who escaped because she left Islam. She escaped to Thailand. And in Thailand, they tried to send her back, but successfully because she used the internet and made her case known. In spite of that, they took her passport from her. She was able to get asylum in Canada. Now she's safe and sound there. And she wants to really stand for freedom for women. And around the corner there is a protest we had in Stockholm against apostasy and blasphemy laws. And there again the map and some of the sayings of Martin Luther King and Dietrich Bonhoeffer. We will go closer to see what is written there. And then this is the exhibition from the other side. And we go around and come and see also another case from Bangladesh. This is the fellow who said, my dream is to live as a Christian in my homeland, Saudi Arabia, Hamoudi ibn Saleh. And then also a woman convert. Her husband was killed first, and then her was killed, and she is from Somalia. And go around here, you see the 4 nuns who were killed in Yemen, who were helping old people. And here is Nahid Hattar, 55, who was shot in front of the court case in Jordan. Again, the cube, and it is in Swedish. And my hero here, Mahdi Dibaj, who stayed in prison for 10 years after being sentenced to death for conversion from Islam to Christianity. He was the head of the Bible Society when he was arrested. And he said, I'm not only willing to suffer for Christ, but I'm willing to die. And he was murdered after he was acquitted from prison after large international pressure. He was kidnapped 6 months after he was released. He didn't want to leave the country. People advised him to leave, but he said, I want to serve my people. And here, a very sad incident which happened in Garissa, in Kenya, where over 134 students were massacred, killed because they refused to convert to Islam. There were teachers, medical doctors. Sad, very sad. I don't know where is the outrage of the world for all these atrocities. And it happened in 2015. Students were meeting for prayer just before Good Friday. It was on Thursday morning they were praying when they were attacked and killed. And what do you think about their family? What a loss for Kenya. All these men and women were killed because of their faith. They are heroes. And it is sad these atrocities continue to happen without any outrage from the international community. And then you come in here and you see again the map showing where apostasy and blasphemy law is applied. The saying of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, he says, silence in the face of evil is itself evil. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. Dietrich Bonhoeffer. And also here Martin Luther King. He who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps to perpetrate it. He who accepts evil without protesting against it is really cooperating with it. Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King. Article 18 again, and here you see the protest in Stockholm. Mostly immigrants who have left Islam. They are seeking and asking for freedom. of religious freedom. And they want Article 18 to be applied. And again, you see the protest at central Stockholm. Free hate at byter religion. Stood religion free hate, Muslim land. So, my friends, we need your support, your help for the abolishing of apostasy law in Islam. And here we see again our friend Ustaz Mahmoud Muhammad Taha and this Afghani lady who was murdered in Germany, in Bavaria. She was an 11-year Christian, but she was killed because she's converted from Islam. She was working among immigrants in a church there. And here, again, our friend from Saudi Arabia. We go around in the exhibition still, and we see the governor of Jakarta, and Jacques Hamel, 85, who was killed in France. Very sad story. And Mahdi Gibaj, my hero. Friends, what a sad story. We want you to stand with us. We set my people free. To see Article 18 and 19 applied in the Islamic countries. Enough is enough with all this. Enough is enough with apostasy and blasphemy law. Stand for freedom. Set my people free.